1,530 players entered the portal, and of that, we saw 1,153 actually find a team. All right. So not everybody has found a team. Some players, if they don't get a team, sometimes they just waste away in the ether, right? We don't hear about them again when it comes to college basketball. Sometimes players will withdraw their name from the portal. 63 players withdrew their name from the portal, and they're going back to their old team. They're like, hey, actually, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to leave you. I want to stay on this team. Please let me come back. It's one of those things where it's like you are putting your fate in everyone else's hands, and that could be a disappointing thing. W. Bazil says it right. You go into the portal, be prepared to be disappointed, because you may think you're hot stuff, but there's 1,000 other girls who are in the transfer portal too. And so you're working against a lot of factors. All right. You're working against a whole lot when it comes to the transfer portal. If you are entering in there, and especially if you're not like sort of one of the top players, right? You're going to struggle to find a team. We've seen a boatload of updates, and I just wanted to put the bigger ones in one video. So I just want to go through real quick the 3 teams that I featured on the graphic for this stream. I want to talk about UConn, South Carolina, LSU. Now, are there more teams than UConn, South Carolina, LSU? Yes, there are. Will we see other teams make huge runs in the tournament? Yes. Will other teams be really fun to watch? Yes. But I have to start somewhere. So no, this is not a Quita hates UCLA. Quita hates Notre Dame because she refused to talk about them. I'm starting from somewhere. All right. And so we're going to move on from here. Okay. I just want to put that out there for the people who are always trying to figure out some bad faith way to make a comment about whatever. Okay. First up, I do want us to take a deeper look into these 3 programs. Again, UConn, LSU, and South Carolina. First up, I do want to talk about UConn and how UConn got a little bit deeper with some of their selections. So Kaden Samuels, she entered the transfer portal. She barely played last year. She made the right decision to transfer out because her prospects of getting significant playing time was just not happening. So she made the decision to go over to NC State. Good decision for her. I do think she's going to get significantly more playing time, and I think she should be happy with her decision. Okay, all right. I think she should be happy because she was not going to play, not really for UConn this season. So Kaden Samuels is out. Who comes into the transfer portal? Well, we have Kayleigh Heckel from USC. Last year she was a freshman and she was really good. I actually was impressed with Kayleigh Heckel. She's going to get a significant amount of playing time, I would assume, with this UConn team. Because remember, guys, UConn, they lost Paige Beckers, and that's a huge loss for the team. And it's going to be about figuring out how the guard play is structured for UConn. And I think Kayleigh Heckel is going to get a quite a bit of minutes coming off the bench for UConn. Another huge player that UConn got was Serah Williams, guys. There was an all-out battle for Serah Williams to see who was going to pick her up. It seemed like the top 2 dogs were LSU and UConn, and ultimately UConn was able to seal the deal and get Serah Williams. Serah Williams, guys, is a rock star player. She played at Wisconsin last year. She's fantastic, and I'm talking about 6'4". Okay, I'm talking about close to 20 points a game for her. Almost a double-double is what Serah Williams was getting last year, right? Not only is she a really good scorer, she's also a really good defender as well. And that's something that Geno Auriemma is going to love. So here's the thing, guys. You got the 2 Serahs for UConn. That's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch. Like, I'm very much curious to see who exactly is in the starting lineup for UConn, because I think Geno can go several different ways with that. Like, I think he could end up having like a big lineup in the starting lineup. Like, I could see it where we have Jenna L. Alfie at the 5, Serah Williams at the 4, maybe Sarah Strong at the 3. I'm just saying, like, I would be interested to see something like that. I think that'd be really, really fun to see. And then of course you got AZ, and then maybe KK as the 1. All there is to say is that this is going to be insane. UConn is going to be a team to watch because Serah Williams does change a lot. She really does change a lot for UConn. We thought UConn was really good this past year. I'm interested to see what continues to happen from here. Tulip says, I don't see that. Geno will be a backup. It depends. It depends on who they're going against. Because Janet Alfie, she has a lot of potential, and at times she did start last year. I'm curious to see. Like, she could come off the bench, but I also would love to see that lineup of Sarah Strong at the 3, because I think Sarah Strong can actually play the 3 really well. Like, I have no doubt that Sarah Strong could be a really good 3, right? She doesn't have to be a post player, right? That's how good of a all-around versatile player Sarah Strong is. Will she likely play the 4? Yes. Will she exclusively play the 4? I don't think so. Marie says, I hope UConn stays healthy this season. Yeah, it's all about health. It is all about health, guys. We'll see what they're able to do. It would really be cool to see them at full strength. But hey, here's the deal: the injury bug hits everybody, and unfortunately, you can't stop it. Unfortunately, you cannot stop it. While we're on the UConn train, let's take a look at UConn's non-conference schedule. So a couple of big-ish matchups for UConn coming into their non-conference season. One of the things that I find amazing about UConn is that if you take a look at their schedule, take a look at their non-conference schedule, and look at their away games. So their away games are the ones that are like the faded grayish color. Let's look at that and see that UConn is not really going to be in hostile territory, meaning they're playing in a away arena very often, right? So UConn has several away games, but those away games are not really at the place where they're going against. What am I trying to say? Here's the thing. Here's what I'm trying to say. So October the 13th is when UConn season starts. Technically, it's listed as an away exhibition game, but it's in Uncasville, Connecticut. So not very far, right? We also have another away game on November the 4th against Louisville. That game's not happening in Louisville. That game is happening in Germany. Yes, in Germany. UConn will play Louisville in Germany on November the 4th. Then on November the 21st, UConn plays away against Michigan, but it's not really away. It's in neutral territory. It's in Connecticut, in Uncasville. Yeah, neutral sites. Yep. Then they play against Utah in Uncasville as well. Then the lone real away game for UConn is going to be on December the 3rd against South Florida in Florida, right? And then they play Iowa on December the 20th. That one's a neutral site game as well in Brooklyn, New York. So basically, UConn, they're playing on neutral sites for almost all of their non-conference games. And so that's something to note. When I was looking at this, I thought that was hilarious. I was like, wait, what? These are not even real away games. They're neutral site games. All right. And so I thought that was kind of fun. I saw somebody asked about who's going to play point for UConn. I think KK Arnold is going to be the point guard. I think she's going to be the starting point guard for this team. Now, do we know that 100% for sure? No. However, I think it's going to be KK. I think it's going to be KK at the 1, AZ at the 2. I would love to see Sarah Strong at the 3. I think that'd be fun. At least for a little bit. To see that happen. Oh yeah, against USC. That one is at USC on December the 13th. All right, there's some talk in the chats about UConn being too good for the Big East. I mean, they are, but here's the thing. When it comes to conferences, football determines everything. All right? And football is part of the reason why UConn is in the Big East. So, yeah. Shamika says they will go undefeated in non-conference play. Probably. I'd be shocked if they lose. Because, again, if you look at the teams they're going against, right? Tennessee, we'll give them some competition, but I don't see Tennessee beating UConn the way they are currently structured. USC, if Juju was not hurt, then yeah, sure. I think they could have a chance of beating UConn. However, they're not, so no. Right? Ohio State, same thing. It's gonna be smooth sailing for UConn, in my opinion, assuming everybody stays healthy. When it comes to UConn, that's the biggest thing. It's health is everything when it comes to UConn, and we'll see ultimately what they're able to do on that front. LL Kune says UConn may go undefeated. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, guys, at all. At all. The Dalfa says SEC strongest women's basketball conference. Want to see more matches against them for UConn. I mean, yeah, but here's something to keep in mind. Here's something to keep in mind that I think actually more and more coaches are thinking about. They're considering NCAA tournament placement when they're scheduling these games. We did see in the past, we have seen like teams like Maryland and others consistently have really, really tough schedules against top competition, especially in their non-conference play schedule, right? Which is the thing that they can control. You can't control your conference schedules, not really, because there's rules around that about who you're playing and like how many times and whether that's home or away and whatnot. So the real flexibility you have is your non-conference schedule. And we've seen other teams pick really, really hard non-conference schedules, and we have seen that hurt teams where they lose several games in a year. Yes, are they really good losses against really good teams? Yes, but still, overall, it does kind of hurt them when it comes to the NCAA tournament time and when they're ranking teams and whatnot. And so, yeah, don't be surprised to see teams playing very, very weak teams in non-conference play, because they don't want a chance to have a loss on their books before they head into their conference schedule. So, like, that's something to note. That is something to note, guys. All right, so we already talked about UConn. Now, is there anything else left to talk about UConn? Or otherwise, we are going to move on to South Carolina. All right, anything else you all want to say? Yeah, they're looking forward to the tournament. Yep. Shamika says, I don't like that it hurts them. Strength of schedule should matter. It should matter. And supposedly, the NCAA committee, they take strength of schedule into consideration. However, I think most teams are going to take their chances. Just make sure you don't lose against one of these weak teams. If you do, you're screwed. All right. Okay. Molly says that UConn's going to be the champion again. Okay. All right. Tulip is asking who plays the 3. I think a lot of players can play the 3. I think it's 100% up for grabs for UConn. They got a lot of. I think the 1 for sure is KK. 2 for sure is AZ. Once you get past that, again, as I said earlier, I could see Serah doing that. I could see that happening, right? I could see Ashton Shade playing that small forward role, right? I could see that happening. And so yeah. And also Ali Zeeble. Like I could see her playing the small forward position as well. All right. Okay, let's move on.